All right, we are live solo stream today. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another game dev stream. Looking a little different today. Feels really weird, actually, not having Jason, my trusty sidekick. I shouldn't call him trusty sidekick. That sounds like I don't know. He's my colleague. My colleague Jason. You all know him. Been on the stream pretty much every stream for the past year now. But unfortunately, Jason is not feeling well today. So just have him in your thoughts. I think not really sure what the story is. Definitely not COVID. Don't want to freak anyone out. He's gonna be all right. I think it's just a stomach thing, but we decided to give him a Sunday off. So so we're gonna come out here with and do some programmer art. Going to be brushing off my 3D modeling skills today with ProBuilder, and I'm gonna try to recreate my room. Um, my office here, my new office. For those of you who know, I see your riser actually just mentioned it. I just moved right now to a house, our first house, my wife and I. So now I'm in the process of setting up my like forever office. And as part of that, I was thinking it'd be kind of cool if I could recreate it, get the dimensions, recreate it as close as possible in Unity, and then sort of do some ArcViz. Like, I want to paint the walls. I'm not sure what color to paint them, so I figure I can, you know, set up a material like a drywall material and like change the color. And I want to place some sort of accent wall somewhere, but I think in order to visualize it, I'd like to put it into some program. And there's a ton of great ArcViz programs out there, architecture visualization software, but I don't know any of it. I do know Unity, and I do have some modeling skills. But before we get into that, this is going to be more of a hangout session. For those of you who are just now joining, never been to a stream before, typically we do, more structured educational content around programming, software development as it relates to Unity and game development. More recently, we've been doing our talk on freelancing as a Unity developer. We were going to do the third part today, which would have included some code, but, Jason, who has way more experience than I do, to be honest, he's not feeling well, so he won't be here. So we'll do that again, maybe next week, maybe the following week. We'll pick that up, do the third part, show some code. But in the meantime, I figured this would be a great opportunity to hang out. So let me hit up the chat real quick. I see starting with Drunky Redstone was here a little earlier, 01, Apology, Carthy, and appreciate you guys hitting the chat early. I see Stray in here, your riser. What's up, guys? Golden Eagle, Lewis, Brock. Good to see you guys. John Pion. Definitely be active in the chat today. I'm going to be keeping more of an eye on it. But before we get into anything else, just wanted to take an opportunity to thank all of my patrons, all you guys who support me on my Patreon profile there. It really does help keep this going, especially now when just things are so busy and, it's really hard to break away to even do these streams. But, your support really does, drive me there. So just want to take an opportunity to give a shout out to my tier 3 subscribers. So that's going to be Jennifer, Christian, Urizer, Alwyn, Umut Sarin, Anton, Mighty Possum, Amar Durnovic, Dustin, Glasswell Entertainment, Nav from Academy of Games, Yusuf Ali Castle, Jakob Al Safari, Iron Alex, R Star, Trond, Dark Rush Photography, and Thomas. Wow, that list is getting really long, so I really do appreciate all your support. And if you'd like a shout out at the beginning of my videos and my streams, definitely check that out. Or if you just like to support the channel, would really appreciate it. Oh, look at that! I see one of my shout outs right now, Jennifer. Thank you, appreciate it. Appreciate your support, Carlos, Lewis. Oh yeah, good point. We do have a Discord channel or server, I should say. So definitely, there's a link in the description. There'll probably be a link zooming through the chat at some point. I have like a timer that will send that out. You'll also see in the chat at some point that I have a coupon code for the Unity Asset Store. It's not available until September 1st, so I believe that's Tuesday. It's going to run from September 1st through September 30. If you use the coupon code Infallible15, you'll get 15% off your purchase on the Unity Asset Store. It doesn't stack with anything else, but definitely want to take an opportunity during the month of September to use that coupon code. It's funny, September is my birthday month, so you'd think I would have planned this like, hey, it's my birthday, so I'm going to celebrate by giving you a coupon code. that wasn't the case, unfortunately. It just worked out that I was able to provide this this infallible 15 coupon code. So anyway, let's just pretend it's for my birthday. So check that out and use that. Definitely some great assets. And curious about what asset to get. I've got a playlist of my favorite productivity assets. So check that out. And in the description of every one of my videos, there's also a list of my favorite assets as well. So gonna take a second to read the chat here. It's kind of weird doing like I'm sure like every streamer goes through this. Not that I would uh I guess characterize myself as a streamer, but just to like do a solo stream, I'm here in my room talking to myself. Usually I have Jason to bounce ideas off of. Oh no, Jake says in his opinion, ProBuilder is terrible. Uses that work in his hair. He pulls his hair out. Yeah. Well, what's funny is like I've always said, or I've said previously on the channel, and um, I think if I didn't do development, I would probably like to do 3D modeling. When I was in high school, I wanted to get into art. So I had this grand vision of going to the Art Institute and becoming a digital artist. But my life didn't take me down that path. But now that I'm actually doing, software development and game development, I really think I would like to do 3D modeling. And I've taken a couple hard surface courses. There was one that came out like I think a year and a half ago that I got, and I watched through it. But I have more experience in Blender, and I will say in response to your comment, Jake, using ProBuilder, having used Blender, yeah, I feel like it's kind of hard to use. There's not a lot of hotkeys that I've been able to figure out or shortcuts. Like in Blender, I know all the hotkeys, or I used to anyway. So it's kind of hard to have to like, okay, I want to extrude an edge. Normally I'd hit E to extrude an edge, but now I got to look for it in the little ProBuilder window. So that's a huge pain in the butt. Oh, Urizer, what's the exact date of my birthday? That's September 8th. Appreciate you asking. Yeah, I don't know. I've never really been a big birthday kind of guy. I don't know. I guess I have trouble like celebrating myself. So September 8th, that's my birthday. I would have never shared it otherwise. Um, am I answering questions? Yellow Years asks. Yeah, I can answer some. I can do my best to answer some questions. If you have any questions, please, yeah, drop them in the chat. For the longest time, I thought your channel name was Inflatable Code. That's hilarious. Infallible. It's funny. When I first started this channel, the whole I wasn't even gonna do game development stuff, to be honest with you. I was gonna make the whole channel about automated testing, just in software development in general, unit tests, continuous integration, setting up things like that. And I in my first ever blog, but it wasn't going to be a YouTube channel, by the way. It was going to be a blog, just solely a blog. I was like, I need a good example, like that's interesting. At least that's what I thought. So I was like, oh, I'll just use like a game type example. Like I think I did like an inventory for a game, and I just went down the rabbit hole and I was like, let me download Unity and just see what's going on there. Maybe I'll have like really cool GIFs that I can include, because unit testing isn't very visual. So it was like, it'd be kind of neat to have like a visual component and say, look, even though you're making a game in something like Unity, you could still test it. You should still try to unit test and write automated testing. So anyway, long story short, got into Unity, haven't looked back, and I love it. So yeah. ProBuilder is awful, Lewis says, if you want to make your entire game with it. I'd go with Blender for that. Absolutely. I think I would definitely agree. And yeah, for gray boxing, it seems it's incredible. Yeah, it does the job. I mean, maybe I should be making my office here in Blender and porting it in, but I don't know. I just wanted to make it as simple as possible. One thing that I always struggle with my modeling, it sounds like I'm like going to be on the runway. No, my 3D modeling is, I just get caught up in the details. Like I've I've watched a couple tutorial series, taken a couple courses, and like learned about topology and the theory of the topology, and having never having what is it, 4 vertex polygons. I'm probably butchering all this, but anyway, I get really caught up in all that. So I'm hoping that I can just cut out as much as possible of the noise and just recreate my office. That's all I want to do. Even if it's not optimal, even if my topology isn't the best, I just want to go ahead and do that. Don't you feel that ProBuilder and full programs like Blender have very different use cases? Yeah, absolutely. No, for sure. ProBuilder is definitely like a prototyping tool. Now, I believe that some folks have made entire games using ProBuilder, but I think it just depends on the style of the game. I think these were like low poly games. I'm trying to think of what it was called. It was like an iPhone game that completely used ProBuilder. But yeah, it just depends. And you know what? I don't think there's a right and wrong way for it. For anything. It sounds so broad and generic, but it's like, look, if you are really good at using ProBuilder and you're making a game that has, complex topology, but you can get by with ProBuilder, hey, more power to you. I guess the idea is you want to finish what you're working on and put it out there. So if using ProBuilder is the way you do that, do it. Don't let anyone tell you it's wrong. Jennifer says, I got into Unity because I was playing a game that I thought would be really fun to mod, but the creators said that they're keeping modding away from us until a later date. So I went, well, then I'll make my own game. That's hilarious. Heck yeah, man. I think that's awesome, So Jennifer, did you ever make that game? I'm curious because I'm sure we all have similar stories. Like, getting into Unity, I was like, oh, I have a dream game I want to make and started it, never finished. I'm pretty sure that's everyone's story there, or a lot of people's stories. At least at first. Eventually, finishing a game is a skill, and you have to work at that skill. So, 100,000K subscriber special. Charles and Jason on the Runway Stray says that's hilarious. Yeah, for my modeling gig. Yeah, the whole channel is gonna pivot. We're gonna do makeup tutorials, modeling. What's funny too is if you search Infallible in YouTube, you will get a lot of makeup tutorials because there's I guess there's a brand of makeup called Infallible, or I don't know, a line. Jennifer says I'm currently in the process of making the game. Nice. Started with Unity 3 months ago. All right, cool. Yeah, I'm sure it'll continue to be a wild ride all the way. Just keep in mind though, finishing a game is a skill, and you need to work at that skill. So if you ever get stuck on your game, I would recommend trying to create little prototypes, but getting to the end. Like for instance, make a simple game like Snake and try to implement everything: the start menu, options, the gameplay, the score, the high score, and then package it all up and deploy it. To whatever device you want to deploy to. You'll see that, there's a lot of things to learn as you progress through that process. So, Lewis says, pretty sure super hot, use ProBuilder. Yeah, that sounds about right. Yellow Years says, awesome. Was just wondering, what is your advice for someone who has been programming for 7 months, but I still find myself getting stuck on simple problems? What is my advice? Well, I think, I guess my broad advice, well, let me finish the question here. For example, I recently tried to use the custom editor to make a simple toggle preview where you see the object you just generated, but on a toggle, and I found it very difficult. What do you think? Well, to be honest, just keep doing it. I think a big component is you don't want to work in a vacuum, so you want to have your code reviewed. So definitely try to get some other eyes on it, get people to take a look at your code and give you advice. So that's important. The other thing I would say is, keep trying, just keep doing things and really, have your own personal retrospectives. Like just do whatever it takes to get that thing done. So you said you were trying to work on a custom editor, finish that custom editor to the best of your ability, and then just do a retrospective, look back on it. What was hard, write it down, try to determine what are the things that you found difficulty in, and then those are questions that you could pose in our community on the Discord server and just share that and get some feedback. But really, you always want to have a nice feedback loop on your. And I think this goes for anything. Whether you're like a carpenter, who specializes in furniture or something. You just want to keep going, finishing projects, looking back on what you did, taking a look at your mistakes, finish the chair. If you're, using this example of the carpenter, build a chair, finish it, take a look at it and say, well, can you sit on it first of all? If you can sit on it, then it's, fine. Well, maybe you didn't like how maybe you wanted to add like some decoration, and you did some ornate, chiseling into the wood, and you look at it and you're like, it just doesn't look good. Well, what don't you like about it? And then go from there. Also pull inspiration from others, it's just one of those things where experience is going to be your best bet. So just keep working at it, and finish things. That's really important. Um, Brock says, I'm currently working on a Qbert clone. I haven't heard of Qbert. I don't know what that is, but I feel like it's going to be something like Roblox or Minecraft. To get my programming chops back. Nice. That first sentence is music to my ears. Yes, get your programming chops, work on things. Somehow it turned into a test bed for various things, design patterns, unit testing, lots of things that I'd only heard of. Okay, cool. Yeah, no, that's as it should. As you work on different things, you're going to be able to explore different ideas. But I would also recommend not to pose it. And I'm just reading your question, and maybe I'm reading in between the lines how you say you're using it as a test bed for design patterns and unit testing. I think that's good. I guess the red flag that I read in that comment is like the design pattern thing. It seems like you're using it as like a test bed. So you're just like, I'm going to try a design pattern here or there. But what I would say is that when you're working on a real project, don't try to start with the design pattern. Try to look at the problem you have, whenever you face a decision point or a problem, and just think of how you would want to solve it in a way that's maintainable, scalable, and readable, your code that is. And I think what will happen is that the design pattern should emerge from that. Because all design patterns are descriptions for solutions that people have already been using. When the Gang of Four created their design pattern book, it's not like they were making up the design patterns. They were just giving a word or a pattern or recipe for things that people were already using, and they were just organizing that together. So it's just the reason why I even say this, and not to harp on you, Brock. I'm not kidding. I just read into your question, so I'm not saying you're doing any of this. But we get a lot of questions about, what design pattern should I use for this and that, or should I use MVC? And that is, I believe, I always hate to say like, it's the wrong way, but you're gonna have trouble if you look at your problems in that way, trying to figure out what what design pattern is gonna fix it. Sure, you will eventually get to a point where you're experienced enough to where you can just slam design patterns in and you just know them. But even at that level, you're not thinking, what design pattern I could use. You're thinking, well, I have an issue. Here's the issue in the scope of in the context of my entire project. I think events are going to fix this. Or you might think, I need some way to separate, my logic from my UI and my models. Well, then you start working that out, and it ends up being MVC. So anyway, I don't want to belabor the point, but I bring this up because Jason and I actually had a conversation about this the other day. Like, I get a lot of questions about people asking me to make design pattern videos, and it's hard because typically when you want to describe a design pattern, you have to have some contrived example. And the other thing about design patterns too is like they more are specifications. They're like loose recipes, I guess one analogy would be like baking versus cooking. Baking, it's like you have to put all the ingredients, like the baking soda, the sugar, everything has to be exact, or else typically you will run into an issue with a particular recipe. But with cooking, if you're making, spaghetti and meatballs or something, there's so many ways to do it. You can cook up the sauce in a pan. You could, you can put it all together. You can do the sauce separately and then mix it at the end. And that's how design patterns are. You might see MVC, but there's so many different ways to implement MVC based on the frameworks you're using, the language you're using, and so that's just where it's like there's not one size fits all implementation. So that's why I kind of went down that rabbit hole. Let's see what else we got here before we jump into the modeling. Forgot I was gonna to model today. I also took a recent interest in learning algorithms, data structures too. Lewis says, yeah, that's valuable. Data structures, especially for game development. You don't really, it's like math. You don't need to be a mathematician, but there's some great data structures like grids are great. Linked lists are great for things. If you're going to do like A-star pathfinding on your own, or some sort of spatial partitioning or things like that. Yeah, it's always good to know how to understand data models or data structures, and to know how to take something like 3D space and represent that with a data structure. It's incredibly powerful. In fact, one of my favorite courses in college was data structures course. So it wasn't called data structures. I don't remember what it was called, but Yeah, I learned a lot in that class. Um, all right, I'll answer a couple more questions. I'm gonna answer questions as I go into this modeling, by the way. So don't just because I switched to my other view, don't think you can't answer or ask questions. All right. What else we got? How about writing it up in UML? Dorado asks. Um, yeah, I mean, I think there's a place for UML, a time and a place for UML. There's a time and a place for it. Really, if you think about what UML is, it's just in my opinion, at its core, it's a planning tool. I would think it's more than that, of course. It can serve as a documentation. So if you, let's say you're creating a system for your game or your program, and you're like, okay, well, I want to write out all the structure of the classes and the relationships and dependencies, what methods will be exposed and properties. So then you create a big UML diagram, and I think that serves well for planning because it allows multiple people to to look at your proposed design and tinker at it. Um, but it also could serve as documentation after everything is said and done and you've implemented your UML diagram. Um, I'm laughing because Tosha says stop talking. That's hilarious. But right above that, Tanvir says, "How are you?" Thank you. I'm doing well. Um, One last question I see. Patrick says, "Have I ever used the Godot question and the Godot engine, and what do I think about it?" I have not. I've taken a brief look at it, and I think eventually I'd like to make content around the Godot engine. Of course, my channel is more. It's like a higher level, so like I tend to not get tied up with frameworks, and even though all of my content is in Unity, I try to speak more from a higher level. But yeah, Godot, it seems interesting, and from what I've seen from people who are smarter than me and have more experience with it than I do, all good things from what I understand. Um, so yeah, that's I have no opinion on it other than that, other than like anecdote. So all right, cool. What were the games that inspired your game dev journey? I'm gonna switch on. Oop, wrong view. I'm gonna switch on over to the computer view here. What games inspired my game dev journey? I don't know. I can't say that there's any one that inspired it per se. I think what has always inspired me was just the concept of being able to create, I guess like a world. I guess the most influential games to me today are probably like the Myst series, um, Zelda, Ocarina of Time. I mean, I'm just thinking back to games that have really inspired me throughout my life. I really love uh, Last of Us, Star Wars: The Old Republic, World of Warcraft. I sunk a lot of time into, so I guess like I can't help but be influenced by those games. Just because I spent the most time playing them. But I don't think I was ever like playing a game and I thought, wow, this game is great. I think I can make it better, or I think I could take a stab at this. I really got into game development in a much different way. I didn't mean to get into game development, but it just sort of happened. So yeah, hopefully that's a satisfying answer. Oh, it's pronounced Godot. What did I say? Godot? It's funny. Godot, my bad. Godot. OOT versus Majora's Mask. Thoughts? I think they both stand up. They're both great games. Ocarina of Time for me was such a pivotal game for my entire life because it was like the first game that I ever played without my older sister. My older sister, pretty much, I would just watch her play games. But then I got to an age where I got my own N64, and it was like bundled up with Ocarina of Time. So for me, that was super pivotal. It was the first game I ever played alone. It was the first time I ever explored game mechanics. And then Majora's Mask was just a continuation of that. But what I love about Majora's Mask is the time travel aspect of it, where you go through the 3 days. I think that's such a great and fun mechanic to play with. So I really enjoyed that. Um, yeah, Ocarina of Time. I remember like the first time I guess I felt like I saw game mechanic was I remember there was like a ledge that I was trying to jump to. It was a section of the game where you needed the hook shot to like take yourself up to it. But and I didn't have the hook shot at that moment. And it looked like you could climb up some boxes and you could could technically jump to that ledge. Little did I know that the game developers understood that this was for the hook shot and it was part of the game's progression that you'd have to get the hook shot before you can come back to this point. But I didn't know that. I just thought I was doing it wrong. So I spent hours jumping and jumping and trying to jump to this ledge, and it just wasn't possible. Well, it didn't dawn on me until probably like my third or fourth playthrough that I was like, wow, I remember I was trying to jump to that ledge, and it just didn't dawn on me that like that's not what the game wanted me to do. And it was the first time that I like pulled back the covers a bit, and I was like, oh, okay. So there are mechanics, there's thought to this, and there's a progression that I have to follow. There's rules to a game world. All right, cool. So, all right, so let's get into the ProBuilder stuff. I guess I've been talking 20 minutes now. So this is crazy. I want to show you, first of all, my first bit of programmer art here. Check out this beautiful ASCII art. Look at that. I mean, is that not the most well-structured notepad document you've ever seen, text document you've ever seen? What you're looking at here are the dimensions of my room, because as a programmer, one of my best assets is my ability to procrastinate. I'm sure you all know, being programmers yourselves. And so how I've decided to procrastinate is to measure out my entire room, and then measure it out in inches, and then convert it to meters, so that when I go into Unity to create my little room here, I will have the exact measurements in meters. So as we can see here, the entire room is 127 inches by 151 inches by 94 inches. So and then this is the same measurements in meters. And then I've got information about where my doors are, my windows, just out of hand. Like, this is just me. Like, I don't want to touch ProBuilder. Even now, I am procrastinating here. The font, Tasha asks, it's a Victor Mono. It's a really great font. Has a bunch of really cool ligatures, so you can like do things like what is it? A not equal is gonna look like that. It's pretty neat. Victor Mono, definitely check that out. I like it. Some people hate ligatures. Well, I didn't even know that one existed. Huh. Wait, you can do arrows? Oh, you can do squiggly arrows too. That's pretty cool. Wait, not that. I love ligatures. So cool. I don't get to use half of them. Yeah, so this is a good reference. And this serves two purposes, because this document rather, because if I ever do open up a another ArcViz program or Blender, at least I have all this information. So anyway, let's go ahead and dive on in. I guess before we do that, let me just do one last bit of procrastinating. Be sure to hit that like button. Really do appreciate that. Just lets the YouTube algorithm know you like this kind of content. Speaking of this kind of content, this is a little outside the norm. Normally we do more structured lessons. I'm sure if Jason's watching this now, he's rolling his eyes like, what are you doing? Won't be doing any code in this today. Just gonna be doing some ProBuilder modeling if you've just joined in. So yeah, smash that like button. Also, leave a comment on the video once it gets posted. This will be a VOD eventually. So if you like to see anything or have any questions that weren't asked or answered rather, you can just drop a comment. We try to get to those, of course. And yeah, please just drop some comments in the chat, and we'll be engaging all day here. So let's get started. So here I am in Unity. I'm using 2019.3.11 just because it was what I had on my computer. I didn't think to get 2020.1, which would have had, I think, dark theme for free, which is dope. And so the first thing I'm going to do is just create the entire room. So it's going to be 3.2 by 3.8 by 2.3 roughly. So let's go ahead and do that. So this is not a lesson, so I can't help myself but say, like, try to like talk through everything that I'm going to be doing. But this is not like, I'm not a pro at ProBuilder. I'm not a pro builder. So just please take all this with a grain of salt. And if you see me do something that there's like a shortcut for, I really would appreciate you letting me know what that is, so I don't do things. I like to work smart, not hard. Yeah, smart, not hard. So I'll be working hard today, not smart. All right, so let's do this. All right, so I'm going to do a new shape. Hit that little plus sign there. There we go. We got the shape here. Pro tip, make sure you hit build, because I've actually closed this. Well, I don't know how I did. Maybe I dragged it off the screen and I started working with this shape. Maybe they fixed that, but I remember there were times where like I would develop a whole shape, a whole thing here, and turns out that I never clicked build, and it wasn't actually in my scene. So yeah, I noticed that my camera is a little out of focus. I might need to not that it matters. You don't want to look at me anyway, right? Sometimes I gotta fix the focus by putting my finger. Yeah, that's a little bit better. Thanks, appreciate it. You don't want to look at me, right? Okay, so let's do the first. Let's build the room out, right? Talking forever here. So it's gonna be 3. I'm gonna drag it off the screen here because it's gonna go away. So 3 by 2258, getting super exact. You know, this is art, so I shouldn't be doing all this, right? I should actually just be like feeling it out, but that's not how I roll. So, and then oh, the height actually. The height is 2 by 3, 8, 7, 6, and then 3.83. Oh no, yeah, 5.4. Alrighty. Let me just eyeball it as an artist. Looks like my office. Nice. Well, my office has an inside, so I think what I'm going to do is just going to I want to make a copy of this cube actually. That's one thing that I learned from Andrew, Blender Guru, and just make copies. So I'm going to say room base. Dupe that guy, and I'm just gonna disable him. Okay. So now we got our room base here, and the next thing I'm gonna do is flip normals because my my room has walls facing inside. So can I do that? Yeah, I can. So flip normals. Maybe I have to select all the faces. Notice that I can't click on these. Am I in some sort of weird? Did I click build? It seems like I can't edit the actual shape. Yeah, I gotta flip the normals, but I can't select the faces for some reason. Let me do that again. New shape, build. Build the shape. I can't select the faces, the vertices, or the edges. So, well, there you go. That's a good start. No, I feel like I just want to reboot this thing. Unity, just in case. I'm gonna save a scene. I'm gonna call this the stream scene, so you guys get your special, your own special scene. Save that. Blender Guru's Bay. Yeah, he sure is. All right, let me just restart. You get to see my cool background. Oh, no, never mind. You get to see Ryder. There's my background. Open up home office. I could make, yeah, Brock says make a smaller box and invert the normal. I could do that. I want to put windows and stuff in, so I've never really figured out how to reconcile like putting a window. I guess I can do the thing where you put like a cube through two objects and do like a cut. All right. Check the inspector for your cube. There's an edit button. Ooh, I didn't know that. Oh, well, this seemed to fix it, but there's probably some edit button I didn't see. All right, here we go. We got it now. All right, so I'm gonna select all those. I don't know how to do a select all. So other than to just click the option here. Where is it? Or I can do select hidden on. So I should be able to just drag. Drag. Ooh, that worked. Okay, cool. All right, cool. So now we can flip the normals. Flip those guys. Look at that. We are in the room. Let me turn off this grid. There. So now we're inside my office. Welcome, guys. What do you think? It's my new office in my new house. Pretty great. Just trying to make sure okay, so if I'm looking at my office here, this is going to be the... Yes, east. So this is the east wall. This is the south wall. Wait, hold on. Yes, this is the south wall. So right now where I'm sitting is right here in this area, and this is the south wall. So programmer art, look what we've done. Yeah, yellow years, Boolean cut. So I could potentially do a Boolean cut. But yeah, I've seen where it's pretty buggy and it puts a lot of crappy geometry. I can throw some light in. I could turn... Yeah, let me throw a light in here too. Let's do a light, do a point light. Control Shift F to bring it here to where I'm currently positioned. All right. Put it over here. Beautiful. All right, let's start cutting some doors. So as I sit here on this south wall and I look to my left, I got a door that leads out to the hallway here, and I've got a closet door here. And then if I turn around, you can see it on camera, I got a window right there. So let's put some doors in. So my main door to the room is going to be it's going to be 30 inches by 81 inches, and it's 6.25 inches from the south wall. So let's see how we can use that information. So what I'm going to do is put some loop cuts. So I'm going to grab this edge up here. Let me turn off gizmos. And then I'm going to go ahead and do a loop cut. Or an edge loop. Edge loop is what it should be. And I can just drag it left and right. So I'm going to drag it all the way to the edge as close as I can get it. Again, this is probably not the best way to do things. Then I'm going to turn my snapping on, and I'm going to make it snap this distance, which is how far I measured it to be from that south wall. Because I have to be exact. And in Blender, I'd be able to just type this number in, and I wouldn't have to do all this fanciness, but I have to. So let me turn on the snapping. There you go. Looks about right. I'm eyeballing it right now. Nice. Okay, so check the chat. I'm sure people in the chat are like, what are you doing? Put a placeholder so you won't lose orientation. Curious about that. What do you mean placeholder? Because I definitely lose orientation a lot. Like maybe put like a little capsule in the scene so I know where the bottom is. Oh, for Pete's sake. I think I just put this on the wrong wall. I sure did. Let me undo all that then. All right, let's do it again. Let me put a little placeholder. See if I got this right. I'm going to put a capsule. It's going to represent a little... me. It'll represent me. I should probably get an actual model. Because as we've established at the beginning of this stream, I am not a model. Set the rotation here. Put this guy... there. I'm floating. I guess I never saw where the room base was positioned. It's kind of in a weird spot. I'm just going to put it at 0, 0, 0. Because I like everything to be nice and positioned well. Okay, put this guy somewhere in the middle of the room. I'm a maniac because I'm using actual values here. Put this 0.5 up. Wait, 0.75? Or is it 1? Yeah, okay, 1. All right, so this is me. Gosh, I put on some weight here. Oof, that quarantine 15. I'm huge. I'm definitely not this big in this space. I probably should get a model off of Mixamo. Yeah, your eyes are you confirmed it. So anything that I can look at is a good reference. So this is a pretty terrible reference. Yeah, I'm pretty tall, huh? I should probably download some model on Mixamo, but I'll do that later. Also for your door, you can do it way easier if you make your door another cube, then place it in the right place, then cut. Oh, that's pretty smart. You're smart. See? This is why I do these streams. All right, so let me get this guy out of the way. I want to try that. My method is not the best. Come on. Come on, little Charlie. Get out of the way. All right. So let's do that. So I'm going to make a new shape. And, oh, let me stop that. Let me hit the plus sign for the new shape. And now I'm going to make it the actual size of my door. So my door is going to be 0.752. And the height is going to be 2.0574. And I don't know the width. I'll just make it something small. 0.4. Where's my door? No, even smaller than that, I would think. 0.3. 0.333 repeating. Sounds good to me. Okay, built it. Here's the door. Door number 1. Looks super long and skinny. All right. Oops. Grab the whole object, put it into place here. And then I'm going to spin it around. Oh, not that way. That way. Oh, it's funny. I wonder, is this lined up? That's funny. I could actually use my method of snapping it. What I had measured away from the door frame still works. Okay. Let me change from perspective mode to, is it isometric? I don't want to do isometric. How do I get it into like 2D mode? Hmm. Do I have to go 2D? But in 2D mode, I can't spin it. You can select by vertices if you press V. For vertex snapping? Oh, that's good to know. All right. Well, I'm trying to get like an isometric, not an I guess an isometric view, but like dead on, so I could do the loop cuts, the edge loops I want to do. Yeah, my office is pretty small, huh? Wow, what did I do? Here's where I'm like really fumbling around with, as opposed to Blender. Like really, okay. I'm just gonna do it like this. You can also set your editor to choose by pivot instead of center for an easier time with this door. Cubes always have the pivot at the bottom. Here's my door. I should probably name this door. Main door, so I don't lose it. This is gonna be me. This is Barles. This is Barles. Put those up there, put my point light out of the way. Just trying to organize things. Beautiful. Okay, so click the arrows, man. What arrows? These arrows? Or the arrows on my keyboard? Oh. Spammer. Don't spam. Put you in timeout. Okay. All right. Click the arrows. What arrows? Please. help, send help. I'm just gonna do the loop cuts. I'll keep watching the chat though if you guys find anything. Click on 2D and click the arrows. Okay. Click on 2D. 2D. Where do the arrows go? You can press F to focus on scene. Okay, got that. Let me click on the main door, F, and then top right. But I don't see them. Whenever I go into 2D mode, they're am I missing something? I don't see them. If I go out of 2D mode, I could do this. And now with the recommendation of focusing, there you go. I think this is pretty solid. How do I go to ortho? Because this is ISO mode. I don't know how to get into ortho mode. I can lock it. Well, this seems like it's pretty good. If you guys if you see anything else I could do. Rip. If you press the Y-axis, yeah, you'll get it from the top. X. Oh, here we go. Okay, this is good. Yeah. Okay, this is ortho mode. Beautiful. We did it. How many programmers does it take to model an office? Unfortunately, though, I guess I got to zoom out. Yeah, beautiful. Okay. So now, oh, I keep doing that. Here we go. So middle click to move. Zoom in. Now we're getting it. Okay, click on the main door. F. Boom. Beautiful. Let me zoom out a touch. Now we got it. Okay, I think this is it. So let me switch to object mode, bring my door up. It's funny, I'm just adding a door here. And yeah, congrats. I should probably use a different texture for this door or material because I can't see this thing for the life of me. So I got to get my project view back in here. So let me get Windows. I'm going to do project. And let's create ourselves a new material. And because I'm, anal, I have to go ahead and create a folder and call it materials. You can vertex color it. Please go on. I'd like to know about vertex coloring. In the ProBuilder menu. Over here on the left. I see vertex colors. Oh. Okay. Main door. Oh, wow. That's man, let me tell you, like in what is this? How long have we been doing this? 45 minutes? I've learned so many things. Oh my God. Well, let me take care of this. Very cool. Thank you for that tip. Beautiful. Okay. There you go. You can do it by face. What did I do it by? I'm happy with this. This solves my problem. All right. So now, if anyone's watching this who has experience with ProBuilder and is like, what are you doing? I apologize. Bear with me. Okay. So let's go ahead and let's insert an edge loop back to the drawing board. So now, following your riser's advice, this should be much easier. Maybe not as exact as I would have liked, but I think this is pretty solid. Very, very solid. Not the programming solid. The 3D modeling version of solid. Wow. Okay, so that door is done. And if I wanted to, I guess I could just delete the face. But I think for now, I'm just going to color it. I'm going to use the vertex coloring if I can do that by face. Nice. Oh, I can make it brown. Like a door. Oops. Or orange. Close enough. Nice. Okay, let's do the other door. So the next door is, pull that up here, the closet door. My closet is really small too. In my apartment, I had a huge closet, like walk-in closet, dedicated just to my office. And so it wasn't good though, because I had all this stuff that was just all over the place, and it was just an opportunity for me to be lazy about my organization skills. So now I have to organize things, and more importantly, my favorite thing is I have to purge things because I have just too much. I have too much equipment. Although another cool thing that I did was I got a sock or like a shoe or sock organizer that you hang up on your door. You hang it up on a door, and you put it's supposed to be for your shoes or socks. And I put my wires, my cables in it, and that was really cool. So I stole that from Pinterest, I believe. It wasn't my ingenuity. Of course, as developers, we take other people's bright ideas. All right, so vertex color this guy. All right, go into orthogonal view. Gotta click on the arrow. All right, back. And then Control Shift F, or rather Shift F to focus. Let me do that again. Let me pull that down. Where is it? Let me call this closet door. Closet door. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to take a look at the chat. Let me just knock this out. Okay. Now, I already have the cut. I already have the loop cut for the top of the door, so all I really actually need is the sides. So let me just move this over so it looks pretty close to what it is now. It looks about right. I have to put a door frame to some molding. I'm not going to do that today, I don't think. Focus on the door. Beautiful. Now we can do the loop cuts. So select my room base, grab the top there, and then I'm going to do a loop cut. I keep calling it a loop cut. I don't know if that's what it's called in Blender. I don't know where I got that name from, but edge loop. You get me. All right. Insert an edge loop. Bada bing, bada boom. Close enough. And then I'll just take this face here. Whoa, not that face. Not that face. This face. And we're going to do a, where'd it go? Vertex colors. Just lovely. Okay, let me take a look at this chat here. Thank you. These are great tips. Really great tips. Wow, Barl's looking big here, buddy. Barl's can't fit through this door. Up here. Barl's is not going to fit through this door. All right. Yeah, Brock mentioned your mom has that for spice rack. Yeah, spice is another thing I want to take care of in the new house because we have spices everywhere. My wife is looking on Pinterest. There's all sorts of crazy things you can do to organize your spices. Hey, man, They're a pain in the butt because they don't stack. They don't they pretty much take up the entire bottom like three quarter 1/4 of a shelf, and it's just like why is all this spice here? So if you can stack it, the more power to you. Hey, Jason's here. I hope you're feeling well, man. Glad to see you in the chat, man. Yeah, I was actually joking that you like come into the stream and be like, what the heck is he doing? I'm not doing any code. We're just hanging out. We're doing some ProBuilder, doing some programmer art here. So I'm building my office. Do I watch Danny? Danny's hilarious. I don't really watch anyone regularly per se, but yeah, I've seen a bunch of Danny's videos and he's great. Love his stuff. Um, yeah, loop cut. Oh, yellow here says loop cut is from Blender. Yeah, okay, I guess that's where I got that from. Shadman says I only came here to watch Charles struggle with the basics. I needed a humbling experience. I may have a lot of experience as a software developer, but when it comes to all the other stuff, not too great. But hey, you got to start somewhere, right? And this is me practicing what I preach. I may be good at development, but I always say if you're trying to get better at programming, you should just make things and do things. I want to get better at modeling, 3D modeling, I should say. So this is me doing it. So, Milk Gang for life. I did not stray. I did not catch the Neuralink stream, but I did see plenty of Reddit posts about it. I have no opinions though. I don't think I want a chip in my head. I will say that much. Okay. Um, Also, when I finish this thing, like maybe I'll share it on the Discord server. So that would be kind of cool. Um, I guess it's a good point to just take a breather before I do that window here. Just want to say, hit that like button if you haven't already. If you're just joining the stream now, this isn't the normal type of content we usually do. Let's switch to my other view. We switch to my chat view. This is not the type of content I normally do. We normally do structured programming tutorials for game development. Today, Jason, my colleague, my co-host, who the brains of this operation, he wasn't feeling too well. He's in the chat now, but we had something planned. We were gonna finish off our talk on freelancing as a Unity developer. We're gonna round that out with part 3. Actually, show some code examples, but we're gonna go ahead and just do that another time, maybe next week. So anyway, I decided I'd hop on here and do some 3D modeling. I'm a programmer, so this is all programmer art. And what we're creating here is my office. I just moved into a house and I have this office here. And I just thought it'd be kind of neat to recreate it in Unity so that I could get some experience and practice 3D modeling. As you see, I'm very rusty. And also I thought it'd be a good opportunity to do some ArcViz. So like, I have a couch in here. I've got some stuff I want to set up and paint. I want to paint the walls. I'm not sure what color to go with. So I figured, heck, I'll just get HTRP set up and see what it looks like. So that's what we're doing there. And I'm hanging out in the chat. So if you want to have any questions or want to say anything, I'm keeping an eye on that as well. Off subject, I noticed you on the Bolt Discord channel. What do you think of it as a programmer? It's not to talk about Bolt, just to talk about visual scripting in general. I think it's fine. I think you're always going to be limited. You know what I mean? Like it's a compromise. Anything that's easier is a compromise. I would even say, if I was programming in just straight C or straight assembly, I'm making a compromise programming in C# as opposed to programming in assembly. You know what I mean? Like I'm getting more ease. I'm getting more quality of life with tools and things like that. But the compromise I'm making is I can't write the most optimal code possible. And, I'm limited by what's available in .NET and C#. The same thing I would say applies to visual scripting. What I'm getting is the ability to not have to know too many details about programming languages, C#, and I get a more visual representation of my program or game. That's what you get with Bolt. I guess the compromise there is that it's not going to be optimal. You're always going to now have in your scene, in your game, is going to have some Bolt script running your script. So that you do get some optimization hits there, although I understand they're doing a lot of good stuff with that, optimizing it. But I guess the more important thing that you have to compromise when you use something like Bolt is that it will be your entire project, and it's hard to pivot away from that. So if for whatever reason, let's say you wrote your entire game using Bolt, and it's done, it's ready to go. You can never pivot away from that, at least not easily, not economically. You are locked in, just like with Unity ECS. If you decide to use ECS to make your project, you are locked into Unity ECS because all your code needs to fit into the ECS framework or system. So that's pretty much what I think about it. I think that if you're making a simple game or if you're prototyping, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. And if you're more comfortable using Bolt and that's what gets you to finish games, again, just like I mentioned, using ProBuilder to finish an entire level for your game or your entire game, hey, more power to you. Whatever it takes to get you from point A to point B. So I think Bolt is fine. Do I use it or would I use it? Probably not. Maybe I'd use it for prototyping, or if I had a simple game that I wanted to knock off quickly, or maybe I was doing a contractor job. Probably not. Actually, I wouldn't want to tie them into using Bolt. So, yeah, there are very few use cases where I would personally use it, but I do understand its importance, and I think it's very important to a lot of game developers that they have something like that. So, yeah. Um, any more questions here? Thank you for hitting that like button. Appreciate that, Artyom. About getting better, would landing a link for the newest alpha of my new game plunge run? Oh, huh. You want to put a link in here? We have a showcase on our Discord server. We've got a showcase channel, so if you want to showcase anything, please join us on Discord. You can share it there. Yeah, blueprints. I've never used blueprints in Unreal Engine, but I mean, clearly it works. I've seen a lot of really neat things being created with that. So I don't have any experience with it. I'm a software developer. I've always have been. So that's just where I feel comfortable. So Jason's here. I'm gonna read his because he's always like my co-host. He dislikes visual scripting tools. He thinks they are solutions looking for problems. Interesting. Yeah. So I'll let him expand on that. But hey, El, welcome to the stream. All right, let's get back onto it here. I got a window to make. What have we done so far? We have created 2 doors. Let's create a window. Let me get big old Barles out of the way here. Get out of here, buddy. Jeez Louise, look at this guy, big old behemoth. You can't get through these doors. No way. Well, maybe. No, no way. All right, there'll be some clipping for Barles there. And let me move this light. I can't see it. I can't really see this wall very well. There you go. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing that Urizer had suggested. And so I've got the dimensions of my window. We're not going to get it exact. I went to the trouble. Maybe we could. I went to the trouble of trying to get the exact positioning. So I think if I get the width and the height of it, I can go ahead and just go from the floor. And yeah, should be good. So we're going to do absolute unit. Hilarious. Love it. So it's going to be 0.889 by... height is 13462. And we'll just keep the same width. Doesn't matter. Okay, let me pull this into the room here and position. Right there. Okay. And then we'll use the vertex colors to paint that guy up. Go blue. Oh. Oh. Gotta select the face. Why? Uh-oh. I get my colors. Did I not make that? Did I not build it? Oh no. I just learned about this thing and can't get it to work. Any ideas? Window. Any ideas on this one? For some reason, my vertex painting isn't working anymore. I'll reboot her. Oh, wait. I couldn't see it. It was hidden behind the wall. Congratulations. I played myself. Okay, so let's switch over to the front view here. Beautiful. And then Shift F to focus. Lovely. Now, as for the position. See you later, Stray. Thanks for joining in, man. Definitely check out the VOD. Leave a comment and a like. Appreciate it. And we'll see how far we get with this. See ya, man. Well, this window is fairly close to the center. I don't know. I am a little torn. I kind of want to get it exact. Let me see how close I can get. Holy heck. I did not know that this was a thing. So I hit Shift F to focus on the window, and the camera moves. It focuses like fully. I can't believe that. I did not know that was a thing. Wow. Can you see how much time I spend in my code editor as opposed to actually making things in Unity? This is incredible. That's incredible. I did not know that was a thing. I love that. Wowza. All right, so I know that I'm gonna try to position this thing now that I've got the size, and I'm gonna use this snapping thing. So I know that it's 0.635 from the floor. So I'm gonna turn on snapping, snap it up. Okay. Kind of looks right. I don't know. Yeah, let me take a look at that. Feels a little too high, but let's see. If you use vertex snapping and make another object for the sizes of the floor one direction. Ooh. Okay, I'm cool to check that out, Urizer. Hey, what's up, J Jack? Thanks for coming on in. Appreciate it. I like your your avatar. Getting ready for Halloween, huh? Cool. Just reading through the comments here. All right, so let me try that because I haven't really figured out vertex snapping yet, and I think it'd be a good opportunity to do that. So you're saying I should get an object. So all right, let me do that. Make a new object. I know that the from the floor it's 0.635, and then from the wall, from the east wall, it's 1.143. Just gonna make this a little thicker so I can see it this time. Okay. Jason says check your Discord. Okay, I could do that. Check my Discord here. It's probably saying, hey, let me in. Set up a Zoom call. All right. So let's get Jason in here. Let me send him a Zoom link. Hold on. Let's do that. Let me set up a Zoom link for this guy. I guess technically I could do a voice call. You just won't be able to see him. Probably too complicated to get us all set up. Let me do a voice call. This is something I've actually been wanting to do. I've been wanting to like actually have people join in. Hold on, Jason, I can't hear you in Discord. Let me see if I can. You're probably gonna hear me twice. Give me a sec. Output device is gonna be chat. You say something?
Hello.
Hey. So hey, welcome to the stream, man. I hopefully people can hear you. How you feeling, man?
Sorry about that. Yeah, it's better. It's one of those things where I just needed to turn off the lights, close my eyes for a few hours, and just sort of refresh. But yeah, much better now. I think it was something dodgy I ate. Happens from time to time.
Oh yeah, I've been there. That's not fun. Glad to hear you're doing well. I was wondering what your reaction would be to me like doing 3D modeling.
I'm a big fan of ProBuilder myself, so it's interesting to see.
Good. I'm glad you approve.
I will say though, I do feel like you're making it hard for yourself. There are ways to make this a lot easier.
Oh yeah, I know that there are. I just don't know what they are. But I'm getting a lot of good tips here.
The simplest one is when I first started, I was building the rooms out from pieces like this, sort of modularly. But what makes it easier is if you build a giant room by extruding out a block and then flip the normals, and you end up with the entire layout done as a single piece.
You know what, Jason? Could have learned that earlier. Could have been here earlier. No, just kidding. Well, I've come this far, so now I'm trying to figure out vertex snapping.
Holding V and then grab the middle blue box.
Okay, let me do it.
You should change the icon.
Holding V.
Yeah, and then grab a thing, and it'll snap to the nearest vertex.
Oh, very nice. So I want this guy to snap over here. Oh, but I need to have this positioned into the wall. All right, hold V. Dang, that's really nice, actually. Snap it right there. Very
Also, depending on what you're working on, if you see where it says shaded in the top left corner, if you click that drop down and switch to wireframe, sometimes that's easier for lining up your lines in the scene.
It's kind of hard
I
to
do
see.
that when I'm building walls and stuff. I do the whole like click a thing, add an edge loop, select the whole loop, and then duplicate the next one. And then if you're just looking at the lines, you don't have to deal with all of the kind of confusion of geometry. I even turn off the light as well for the lit scene, the side 2D. Just makes the whole thing a bit easier to work in. You don't have to deal with all of the annoying shadows when you're trying to just literally place geometry.
Yeah, I got you. I like the vertex color thing. I didn't realize that was possible to just change the color of a face if you wanted to.
And for things like windows and stuff too, what you can do is if you click a face and then hold shift and move to the scale tool and then like pull it in, it'll automatically make a box for you. Now the size will be a bit wonky, obviously, but you can then use that as a base plate, and then you can sort of extrude it in and out, and then switch to vert mode, and then just sort of push and pull it around.
Oh, so is that the hotkey for extruding? Shift.
Shift is, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah. So literally, like traditionally, what I'll do is I build a box. I put on the grids, pro grids for like 0.5 or 1. And then what I'll do is I'll just move it to like a 5x5 box. I'll make a full thing, click in the middle of it, extrude in, pull it out, snap it to the bottom. If you just drag it down, it'll go to the bottom. And I would just like build out corridors, build out rooms, build out windows. And then when the whole thing is done, I double click the whole thing, flips inside out, and you've got like a room. And it's a much faster workflow for kind of the larger blocks.
So you go in. You must be in agony watching me do all of this.
Hey, everyone has to learn something the first time, right? Like, I did exactly the same thing. I remember once spending 4 hours by doing individual boxes, trying to line them up and do all sorts of crazy stuff. And then at one stage, I found out there's an experimental tool for ProBuilder that lets you extrude faces, kind of like BSP brushes, if you ever did Unreal stuff. And I thought that was really cool, but it ended up being a real mess and adding really complex geometry. And all because I just didn't bother to learn like the default stuff. So it took me, I'd say, 6 months of playing with it to figure out, oh wait, you can just do it the simple way. All I had to do was watch like a load of videos to figure it out. So don't worry, I was exactly the same for a very long time.
That's awesome. Well, I'm sure you're watching like a behind version or delayed version of what I'm doing now, but I think I got the window in place. The only thing I don't like is from what I know of geometry and the courses that I've seen, like we definitely have some, like with these doors, having this this edge cut through the whole room is not ideal. Like I think I would want to have I guess a more sophisticated cut here at the bottom. I wonder if I can share my screen so you can actually see what I'm doing live, so you're not
yeah, why not?
See if I can do that real quick. Okay, can you see my screen?
Sound. Let's see if I can find the window.
So let me check on the chat while you do that.
Ah, Eureka! We got this. Nice.
Yeah, flipping the normals of the box. Yeah, I did that. I knew that much. So, all right. So check it. So what I was talking about was like I know that having this cut through the entire room isn't ideal, and also having these cuts too is not ideal. So I'd probably want to do something where like I cut up to this corner, so I'd have 1, 2, 3, 4 verts.
Oh yeah, you can get rid of n-gons. Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Yeah, n-gons. That's the word I was looking for earlier. But at the same time, like I feel like I don't want to belabor it because like I just want to kind of get it done.
Yeah, like at the end of the day, it's blocking geometry. Like I wouldn't for people that get too crazy about this stuff. You can use this as real in-game geometry quite handily. In fact, you can even export this out to FBX, tidy it up in an external tool, and bring it back if you want to. But I don't know. I tend to treat it quite happily as I am prototyping. Like that's what I use it for. So I don't really worry too much about being very particular with the actual quality of the modeling, because that's not what it's for, right? It's for proving a play space works well.
Yep. All right, so I'm at a point where I probably start texturing this thing, but I'm curious. I want to explore what you mentioned. So you say you make an entire
so let me show you. I've got a couple of things we can do here real quick. If I don't want to like steal your thunder because you're powering through with this, I don't want to suddenly take over everything. But I have a couple of things you can do which I think might make your life a little bit easier. So if you just start with a box, just like Shift Control K is the shortcut to spawn a item, and then press a new shape, and it'll drop the new shape in.
So, what do you want to build? Just anything, or
Just a cube. Just a cube is fine. Yeah.
okay?
Cool. So what I do is I would just say drag it off at the side somewhere, and is it 1 by 1, or do you have a different size set for your?
I created some crazy size from before. I can do 1 by 1.
Yeah, it's easier because the beauty of it, you can go in and change the material, the texture, but if you stay 1 by 1, it keeps the grid for the most part. So if you now click the top of it and just drag it up by 3 units, actually go to your grid first.
Turn on. Is that?
No, the one underneath it, the off versus off
Oh,
right
okay.
underneath it. Yeah, and then set it to 0.5 instead of 0.1.
Okay, 0.5.
Yeah. So click on the top face and then drag it up like 5 units, 4 units, 3 or 4 units, whatever.
3, 4. Do 4. How's that?
Go one more just for have fun. There we go. No, sorry, I mean like cubes. But when I say units, I'm talking about the like display cube.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah, there you go. Perfect. So now pull it across like 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's that?
And do the same. Yeah, pick another side and just pull it out the other way. Do the same. Yeah. So now click on the face, whichever face you want, and then hold shift and then extrude it down a bit.
Oh, should I do go to the
hold shift, scale size, scale tool, and pull it in. Yeah. Cool. And so make it roughly 3 by 3 if you can. Doesn't have to be exact. In fact, the snapping tool will actually snap it nearby too, which is nice.
I think I double dip there. Let me undo all that to get back to a good state. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
That'll do. Yeah. And then so click on it and move. Just move. Go to move tool and then drag it down to the bottom of the box.
Okay.
Yeah. Now hold shift and extrude outwards this time. And now delete the face.
You're
just
making
press
me
the
look like
back
shit
button.
right now, bro. After all.
There you go. So that's a basic room. But if you now double click the whole box, and then click on near the bottom,
Where?
there's something there which says flip face normals. There you go. So now you got a little room, right? And there's your sort of starting point. So that idea is a little bit easier to sort of scale. And so what I'll do is I'll do little rooms like this, and then I'll just snap them together when needs be. You can just keep extruding out and make rooms, but if you want to keep the scale of the doors and stuff right, it's sometimes easier to do it the other way. Other than that, it's the whole insert edge loops and whatever. I'm not saying I don't do that. It's just this is usually an easier starting point.
Yeah. I there's definitely some doubled up vertices, but I'm sure you can take care of that by quickly like there's got to be some tool to like what do you call it? Weld vertices.
There's literally there is there's a merge or a weld. I forgot the name of it, but it's in there. Yeah. You actually have to go to vert view because these are context sensitive.
True. Weld and then weld distance. Yeah. So anything, it'll probably do that. Yeah. So let me see.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
Whether it worked or not, it doesn't really matter. Cool.
And another fun side effect of this, just as like a thing, because what I'll do is, for example, I had a contracting job very recently where I was working on a security camera system, and I wanted to test it in a viable scenario, kind of like the client would actually have, which is a bunch of corridors and rooms and that kind of thing. So I threw together a really quick environment like this, and you want object moving around. So what's cool is people don't really think about it; they kind of stop at phase 1, but it is geometry, and while it may not be the optimal solution in the long run, it does start with a mesh collider. So if you went to the navigation tab and just press the build button once, you'd automatically find out the floor is properly meshed for you. So if you'd build corridors and rooms and doors and staircases and all that stuff, it will just automatically work. And for my own testing, I have this script called Random Walker or something. And what it does is it reads the nav mesh, and it will pick a random vert on the nav mesh, and just the guy will set that as a target. So he will just wander completely randomly in the environment, which just makes for a nice help with testing to make sure that stairs look good and that kind of thing.
Yeah. No, that's really cool. Nice. Well, now I'm curious to try this same approach with my office.
Yeah.
So let me do that. All right. So luckily, I have everything I think I need in place. So I've got my window. Let me visible. Do it up real quick. Let me turn on snapping. Off, and then grab the whole object. So I think
yellow years makes a good point as well. There is a third way to do this, so we won't bother doing it now, but I'll just highlight it in the chat or explain it while you're doing this. You don't have to start with rooms or start by sort of building at the doors and things. Another option is you can do it in sort of a blueprint manner. And so what that basically means is there is a There's another tool. There's a poly brush tool, as well as just generally kind of you can paint the verts. And what you can do is you can take out a piece of paper, draw out a bunch of boxed rooms, bring it in on a plane, and then what you do is you just click and place along the points of the base of the entire outline of your room, and then you can extrude upwards and then flip the normals again. And what it'll do is it'll build your entire room geometry from your floor plan. And that's
Oh,
pretty
that's
handy
awesome.
if you have a known particular shape you want to reach.
Right, yeah. Which I guess I do because I know the entire like I guess I could do my whole house like that because I do have the
Mm.
layout. That's pretty cool. That's
I
neat.
usually find though for me it's the kind of stuff I do is playtesting stuff. So
Mhm.
I find it more fun to say this room terminates in a rectangle. Well, wouldn't it be cool if I had it a corridor? So I would extrude out and then move it a bit left, and maybe I'll just like push it down a bit and go to the stairs tool and drop stairs in here, and I just sort of freeform it and see how it feels. I don't really have a planned room. I try to imagine an objective per room and say what would be a fun direction to go in, or why would someone want to go in this room or whatever. And so I tend to, because again, I don't treat it like I'm not actually making games. I tend to be making prototypes or demo rooms. So
Yeah, yeah.
most of my stuff is more of like, yeah, screw it. It'd be cool here to put a window,
And I think unless you're doing ArcViz where like you do know the space, like you do kind of want to have that flexibility where you can play and be artistic about it. Oops.
Mm,
Wow, look at this. It's like actually funny how simple it is taking this approach.
mm.
Let
And
me,
like I said, it will snap as well. So if you want to, if you turn it back on to like 0.1, it will snap to the nearest point on that, even with the moving around, and that makes it like really nice for sort of feeling like it's doing some help to line things up.
yeah, I got you. And I could also probably do the vertice snapping to get it on this door
Mm.
like I wanted to. Uh,
And for Windows, a little tip I like to do as well is because it can feel a little bit like, I don't know, incomplete if it terminates just on a cut hole.
mhm.
I'll always extrude out by like 1 unit and then delete the face, and that way it feels like it has a little bit of like edge geometry, so it feels like a
Yeah,
window sill.
that's smart. Let me grab this. Can I do vertice snapping with an edge?
Well, you don't need to. If you just pull it down, it will snap the line. It'll
Okay,
just like snap the entire object down a bit. So just pull down a bit, and yeah, there you go.
got it. Cool.
If you mean like line up the verts themselves, what you can do is if you go to vert mode, you can grab one vert and snap it to the other on both cases.
Okay.
But I probably wouldn't. I would literally instead just go to the vert tool, go to wireframe, and then literally just drag it in myself.
Hmm.
Because at the end of the day, you can move it like a game object. So if you've got a view for it, you can, if you switch to the vert tool, you can click literally on a point, click literally on another, and just like nudge it beside the other one until it lines up.
Got it. Cool. I mean, I'm making much quicker work of this room than I did previously. um,
Well, glad it could help. So hopefully it makes up for the delayed entrance.
yeah. And what I like about this methodology better is that like I get much cleaner geometry here
Mm.
for sure. So let me finish up this door. What was I? Room base. Grab this wall here. Gotta make it the right size. So stick it there.
And again, there's like a million tools here that I don't use at all because they're beyond me. But the fundamentals are there. Like the fact that you can literally the way ProBuilder works is because it's basically just building geometry. It doesn't make a distinction between rooms and walls or doors or even like terrain. And so when you're comfortable with the shape of something, you can literally go to the polybrush tool and just paint on as if it's like a terrain builder. And providing you've got a subdivision enough, it'll just like add the bumps and whatever.
That's
So if you
awesome.
for whatever reason wanted like a climbing rock wall, you could just pick that tool, subdivide one wall crazily high, and then just start adding like organic bumps and stuff, and it's all relatively seamless, which is kind of crazy.
Nice. Very cool. Very cool. Get my door here the right size, and look at that. Pretty much done with it. Oh, let me turn my snapping on. Snap it there. All right. Grab my edges.
That's the other thing too. That I find that working with like realistic geometry is almost more frustrating
Oh
because you're
yeah.
having to deal with the sizes of stuff. Whenever I do sort of level prototypes, I will stick with traditionally like a 3x3 or 3x2 door size, which is in reality kind of crazy big, but it's kind of how game sizes work, and it makes the whole thing feel easier to run around in. But in real life, you're kind of stuck with these awkward 1x1s, which is you know because you have to actually make your capsule thinner as well, just to fit the average human thing. Because he's like a meter wide, right? So you think he's like, if you
Uh-huh.
think about it, he's very chunky default character.
Yeah, I mean, I have Barles in the scene here, and there's just no way he can fit through that door.
Yeah.
All right, let me weld these together. Well, I think it's like, can you weld edges together too? Because I know that, oh, there's like two edges here that are like kind of on top of each other. I was curious to see if I could like. I guess that wouldn't make any sense because I would need the geometry. I'm belaboring it. It doesn't matter. This is fine. So what were
But you
you?
can also like make group selections, by the way. So if you click on the vert tool
Hmm?
and then just drag a rectangle around those two the edge, it'll select the whole lot, and you can just like wedge them as it were, weld them as a set.
Right.
So you can still do like bulk selections. I'll often do that if something is mildly out of sync. I'll just grab the bottom bit and then nudge it around. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Do you have is there a way to slice? Like, let's say I wanted to say, okay, I want to make this the appropriate geometry. I want to slice this in. Can you cut from a vertex to a like into a face?
Oh yeah, you mean like add geometry? Yeah, there is. There's I think it's the connect vertices
Mm.
option.
So if I
So
want
if you had a bunch of them, you could it'll add geometry.
to do something like connect.
I think it's that or fill hole. There's literally one of them is literally it'll draw that extra it'll triangulate.
Gotcha.
Or it's actually literally called triangulate. I can't remember. There's so many there's so many buttons. But yes,
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
what yeah, it's triangulate. That's what you're looking for. So if you select the corners and to click triangulate, it will turn it into triangles, which will add your geometry that stops it being you
Nice.
know more than three sided.
Tylo says, "Is this canon as far as Barrows?" Yes. If you look at Barrows, he has gained the quarantine 15 plus however much you gain whenever you move, and you eat out every single day. This is what Barrows looks like today. What, Jason? What were you mentioning about when you cut out the face, like you do an extrude to give it some geometry to make it look more like a window?
Yeah. So if you just literally again hold shift and then push it outwards with the Z,
Hmm.
just a little bit. So outwards, you're in the room now. Push that a little bit. Yeah. And if you just do that, right? So you've now got like
Mm.
the sill
I
of your
see.
window. So yeah, so I just do that and then I would go out even a little bit further and I would say this at least now geometrically, if I was to put some window mesh in there, it would sort of I'd have a nice place to put it, you know? And
Yeah.
it feels it also means that when you've got things like light spilling in, the light doesn't feel as kind of oddly exact. So just leave that face from there. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll do a double nested thing. I'll go in a bit more and extrude a bit further and I'll give it almost like a fake
Yeah, it's
actual window
kind of what
geometry.
I'm doing now. Trying to like,
Oh yeah, you beat me to it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So you just a little bit of that kind of adds a bit of
it's nice.
intrigue to your design, I guess.
That's nice. Let's mess with it now. And then got a little
There
window
we go.
sill. Nice. Not bad. Not bad. I think I went a little too big there, but you get the idea. Very cool. Yeah, that's one thing I always notice is like when you do have just like a flat hole, even with the doors, it's like, what is this?
Mm.
It looks very strange.
There is some annoying caveats too. Like if you tried to use this as sort of proper lit game geometry, you'll notice that the lighting gets a little bit wonky,
Mhm.
and that tends to be because you are using these one-sided faces that kind of
Right.
act a bit weird.
This here.
Um, so a trick to do with that is to make a giant box that's like a sky dome,
Here
and
it
then
comes.
enclose your entire space. And what that'll do is it'll block out the sort of the sunlight area from that, and then you can sort of light it correctly inside of that box. It's almost like building yourself a little glass bottle to work in.
Nice. Yeah, I'm gonna do that right now.
So yeah, so that's what I tend to do. Then I would hide it in the inspector by hitting the little eye, so you don't see it anymore, but it just like it does the lighting job for you.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna. Oh yeah, I gotta get rid of this wall too. I could do that real quickly. Look at this. I'm gonna use my new skills here. I say size, and then shift to extrude in. Grab these edges, bring them on up.
Nice.
Close enough. Oops, did I just delete the whole
Yeah,
thing?
the cool way to do it as well is if you select an object and click extrude, it'll extrude all faces identically.
Oh, very
So
nice. Oh yeah, yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, okay. Here.
So sometimes what I'll do is I'll take the geometry, I'll flip the face normals back, clone it, and like clone it, flip the face normals back, extrude all of it, and then it becomes this like literally edge thin wrapper around the edge of the
Nice.
object.
Very cool. You want it that tight? Because I noticed there's like
Light leaks and stuff. Yeah,
yeah.
we'll go to the lighting tab, and so for something this small, it's quite easy to bake. So I usually just occasionally mash the bake button just to make sure things are working okay.
Got it.
And you're gonna have to also hit the geometry and set it as static because it's not gonna manually do that for you.
Oh, true. All right, so I'm gonna make this guy static, and then hit the I key. Where's my hierarchy? That's up here. How do you hide it? Maybe I have.
It should just hide it with the eye there. Yeah. Maybe it's
Yeah, I've
it's
got the
not the
wrong one.
ProBuilder. I don't know. Weird.
That's weird.
Well, that normally seems to work. I guess there's
believe
always teething problems. But either way, give it a build. The lighting should fix itself on that sort of weird light edge leaks you had.
Oh, I didn't bake the interior, or rather, I didn't set it to static, or did I? No, I didn't. Static. So I'm just gonna call this interior, and this is gonna be exterior. Whoa, something's happening. Cool, we're getting there.
Nice. While we're here, it might be a little fun addition. Drop a nav mesh agent on your boy Barrels, and we'll just have him vaguely moving around the space, so it feels a bit interesting.
Nav mesh agent. All right.
So yeah, you should be able to see the outline of it, and just as long as it's sort of vaguely in the right place.
This guy.
And then head over to the navigation tab and click build, or build the nav mesh. It should be pretty just like automatic.
Where's the nav tab?
It should be under AI navigation, I think.
Yes. Okay.
So if you just hit that, it should be just a blue rectangle on your floor.
Say again. Just hit bake.
And just hit bake. Yeah.
I have not messed with this.
So that's the walkable space on your floor. And then last but not least, if I send you this script I have floating about here, let me just ping it to you in Discord. If you literally just drop that script on it and drag in the nav mesh, he'll just sort of like occasionally meander around the space a little bit. And as the rooms get bigger, he'll do that too.
Nice.
This is not my script, if I'm being fair. This is one that I just randomly grabbed. I haven't even bothered tidying it, so I'm not super happy with the quality of the code, but it's not meant it's meant educationally. Like the guy who did it did a great job of commenting and marking how it works.
We don't have to look at the actual code. We could just drag it on.
Yeah, just drag it on and don't look under the hood. I want you to give you my gizmo tool as well because he has a target picker. 1 second.
Can't add script component to. What is the story? I guess I might have to double click it and make sure.
Yeah, let me also add this because you'll need to draw the gizmo lines.
Barrels.
Yeah, so just drop him on.
Please.
You have to fix the. I sent you a second script because I forgot to give you the gizmo tool.
Gotcha. Download that. Drag this in there. Got it.
Don't tell me it's really going to give me more problems. I think I gave you the wrong gizmo tool. Sorry, grab the second one there instead. Where's the third one?
Yeah, too many gizmos.
I do. I've been doing a bit of a refactor because I was trying to have code ready for this example, and I before I felt ill. So I think that second one might be the one that has. It's just the order of the parameters. If this doesn't work, we can do a quick edit. But I was hoping this would be drag and drop. Does that fix the exception?
Yes, it does.
It does. Cool. So if you just drag in there the nav mesh agent into the field.
All right. So this is the nav.
Yeah, it does. In the script, it has a parameter.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. So, all right, I see it. Boom. All right, that's it.
So yeah, just press play. Hopefully, if I didn't mess up your project.
Oh well, my camera view sucks. Let me get the camera here. I need some sort of fancy system for cameras. You know what I mean?
Well, you know the Control Shift F. So you've already killed the shortcut portion of it. So there you go. He's just gonna like bop around. So obviously he doesn't have a lot of space to move in. But if you had stairs and rooms and corridors, every so often he's gonna just pick a new spot and wander around to it.
That's hilarious.
And if so, there you go. He's a little bit.
Come on, Barros.
There we go.
Look at him go. Look at him go.
Yeah, there you go. And so I left a couple of parameters, nothing too crazy. Like you can set an interval timer and that kind of stuff. So you can make it more often. But I find this is natural if you spam 6 guys into the space. This is enough wandering around that they don't get too obnoxious.
Let's do 1.
No,
point 2.
And then if you go to Gizmo view, you'll see a line where he's like, "This is where I'm going," and he'll draw a target to that or whatever to show you what his thoughts are. You mightn't see it because of how close to the target are. But if you had like a hypothetical giant set of corridors and rooms, he'll use that.
Nice.
There you go. It makes the whole space just feel a little bit more.
No, this is great. Well, I learned a lot today, so I hope everyone else watching learned a lot too. I mean, I swear I spent like the first hour and probably hour of the stream hacking together this room, and then Jason came in and helped me do it in like under a minute with these cool. And Urizer, appreciate the help, and there's a couple others who were giving some good tips in the chat, so I really do appreciate it. Hey, look, it's got my name over.
Oh yes, I forgot. I added that too. He writes his own label on the character, so you can see which one's which as he's moving about.
This is canon. If anyone's interested about what Barles is up to these days, turns out he's actually moving as well. So that's why you haven't heard from him.
Oh.
But
Coincidental.
Yeah, pretty coincidental. So I think in the next video we'll get an update on both of their progresses, or I guess my progress on Barles. So, but yeah.
Oh, actually, one thing that might be nice just as a final thing for this is the whole room extrusion thing.
Mhm.
If you just go ham first, so make one last cube and then just literally go ham and do a whole like, don't even bother with angles and stuff. We'll just like click the box, scale it up using the normal scale tool, make it like a bit bigger.
Oh, like actually scale it.
Yeah, just go crazy with just scale the room up. Grab it from the center, just like scale it like whatever.
This guy?
There you go. Scale them up. Now do the whole like click the face and make a quick corridor, and just to show you how quick this can be if you're like really in a hurry. Click the face, do the whole extrude inwards.
Be a little slow here.
And then like snap it down to the bottom, or just switch. By the way, W, Q, and E you can use as well, the same as you can Unity normally. So if you just press E and then scale it in.
Oh, beautiful. Nice.
And then press W and then drag it down. We'll drag it down first. So undo that and drag it to the bottom so that it has a floor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And now do that. Shift it out. Yeah. And then shift extrude again. Actually, what you can do here is you can extrude a small bit.
Wait. Trying to use the hotkeys. Yeah. All right.
Now scale the face.
Wait for it.
This is obviously a very ghetto room shape, but it'll work. So now you can lift it up a little bit, and so line it up with the floor again, so that the scale face doesn't. So look at the side view of it. Yeah. So now you can line it up with another room size. And if you click the second tool, the triangle, yeah, you go, yeah, and then just scale it out again.
I think I went a little high. I don't know. There. All right.
Yeah.
Shoot it out.
And just shoot it again. Yeah. And now click this face right in front of you. This one on the side. And scale it in.
Wait, it's like, bro, so funny. Under pressure. All right, got it. It did it.
Yeah. Shoot out another corridor just for it, whatever. And now what I do is like wait here for a second, grab the face again, extrude out like 2 units, and then click another face and then extrude it out so you've got a little corridor.
Yeah.
No, I mean like one of the side ones. Sorry, one of the like grab. Yeah, that one there. Yeah, and that'll do for enough geometry. So now double click the whole lot, click face normals.
There we go.
Now go to the navigation tab and bake the nav mesh.
Where is that tab? It's Window, AI, Navigation. Okay.
Yeah.
Bake.
And if you, oh sorry, make it static first. My mistake. Make it static.
Static. Yep. Then navigation. Bake.
Yeah. Now just drop a Barles clone in there in that room.
You have Barles. Wait. Did I get him? Oh, no. Okay.
And as long as he's like vaguely touching the floor, you should hopefully be okay. There he goes. Off he pops. So here he goes. He'll happily wander about your space. And if you had staircases and doors and stuff, you do that too. Just notice because there's intersecting stuff. Yeah.
Sorry. Oh, okay. This is the little visualization.
Yeah, little dot where he's off to. Yeah.
Urizer says, "Is Barles permanently moving into the pool?" Look, he's in the pool right now. Oh my gosh! Did the office turn into a new portal level? Hell yeah, it did. Actually, that's so funny. I'm gonna I want to recreate my entire house like this now, and then have something like this hidden, like an entire, map underneath.
Yeah. Well, one thing I would say though is that one thing that's probably a little bit unrealistic is if you do the extrusion method, that's great for getting like shapes up and running.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem I have with that, of course, is it's obviously a little bit like maybe it's the OCD portion of it, but I like to have the sizes correct. So I will probably do the same thing that you would, which is effectively if you switch to the edge view, and then if you click any one of the ground edges there on one of the wall sides. Yeah. So what I would tend to do is switch to the wireframe view. Yep, and then click on there should be insert edge loop. Yeah, and then it's just sort of from there, click on the left side of that. So in between that and the other wall. Down on the other side, down on the ground level on the that perfect, yeah. And click the same thing, hit insert edge loop. And then now go back inside the room. And click that face right in front of you and just extrude it out.
Wait, oh shit, I lost it.
Oh, you have to be back in non-wireframe view. And yeah.
Somehow I lost my entire. How did I?
Shaded. Oh, why is it not changing to the? I don't know. Well, your Unity is just not playing ball today. Oh, maybe it's because you're in play mode. Maybe it's doing something weird.
Oh, yeah.
There you go. Yeah. So if you click that face now.
See if I can. I didn't botch the whole thing. I wonder if it just didn't.
Oh, maybe it didn't save. Interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I've literally never edited geometry in that mode before, but you know.
That's funny.
Right. Yeah. So what the thing is, now you've got these two edges. You could line those up properly to like be an actual 3 square base. So you just double click and say select edge loop, and you would just nudge it so it's exactly the right door size, and then you'd extrude this out, and it's the same thing. It's just a little bit more. I don't know. It's a little bit more easy to position. And then finally, as a bit, if you push this out, so scale it out.
This guy.
And then grab its floor and then scale it down. So go like maybe 3 times that. And then just grab the floor and then scale it down. Sorry, extrude down. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. So now, if you switch over to the stair tool, you could literally just snap stairs in there, for example.
I forgot that was a thing in this. Where are they? Stairs?
Yeah. So rather than build it immediately, like line it up first, because this one's got a lot of options to it. So just grab the blue shape in the scene.
I don't see the gizmos.
Oh, you're in edge space view. You want to click into the normal.
Yes. Oh, I'm trying to use the yeah.
And for those kind of large rotations, I hold control to like snap it. But yeah, okay. So you line it up, and then what you can do is lift it up and then move those, and it'll line up and whatever. And what's cool is because the NavMesh agent has a certain stair height. What you can do is once you've got this in and you set it to static, you don't actually need to go too crazy with it. You could have it like, but yeah, that's fine. It'll just automatically know how to use it. So line it up relatively with the geometry, set it as static, click the bake button again, and you'll know it works if the floor turns blue as well. Nice. So there you go. So now we can go up and down the stairs.
Come over here, Barles.
And if you're wondering why it's like a thin sliver, there's this thing. It's a general idea of an agent radius. Standard agent radius is sort of how much comfortable clearance does it need to get around a corner, and it's always a little bit larger than you think you'd need because you're going to have characters passing each other on the stairs and that kind of thing. And that's what's cool too. If you drop 2 in, they will sort of like say, "Excuse me, sir," and just like happily walk around each other, which is quite cool.
Yellow Years is like, wow, I missed 30 minutes of the stream. He's a little confused. I went from creating an office to like, we've designed something of a level here.
Yes, sorry about that. I sort of.
Where did my office go? I don't even see it anymore. Is this it? Look at this. Here's my office. It looks awfully small, doesn't it, compared to like an actual functioning level?
Yeah, I've noticed that myself. Like once you start building a room out to be accurate, the minutia ends up killing you, and that's kind of why, for a sense of sanity, I tend to build these large spaces, and then once I'm comfortable with them, I'll go in and almost make like a small room inside of it, and then slowly delete out faces and put stuff in afterwards. Otherwise, it just sort of feels a little bit like because it feels like you're not making progress even when you are, because it seems like there's not a lot of stuff going on, you know?
Yeah.
That's why it may seem overkill, but I like to put in a character in. I like to put in the walls, just so that now there is a thing that bops around a space. I feel like, okay, every future work I do, I can physically see the character start moving around it, and it makes the whole thing feel a lot more cathartic, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Yogarza says, to be fair, the room feels small because Barles is thick. Yeah, he is. An absolute unit.
Yeah, he loves his milk. What can I say?
Yeah. All right. Well, I think this is a good place to stop. I learned a lot. We got something of an office for myself. So I think I'll probably keep these on the back burner. Like, I'm still finalizing, not the move, but just like getting settled here. So videos are going to start coming out regularly. But I know next week I want to have a video come out. Let me switch to my other view actually. Next week I want another video to come out. I'm working on that now. But then the following week I'm going to be actually on a trip, so I'm going to be out of town. I'm not going to be able to do that. Then the next week we might do a stream, but I'm pretty sure as we move into October and throughout the end of the year, every Sunday we'll have Charles and Barles at it again. And then, Jason and I will do streams like this, maybe bi-weekly or weekly, depending on how things go. And yeah, if you guys, it seemed like from the chat, you guys really enjoyed this. And I really enjoyed, honestly, just being really lax and hanging out with you guys. So I might do these as well, like every other week. And just maybe I'll build the rest of my house or something. But do more sort of like less programmy, more like not my wheelhouse type things so that I can just chill with you guys and we can help each other out. I think it was pretty fun.
Well, that's something that that for the chat who don't know is that you and I do a lot of talk about kind of behind the scenes, just in general about game design and kind of level design. We're both big fans of a lot of the kind of principles of how to design compelling levels and sort of the general rules of building interesting geometry. And we watch a lot of content on that stuff, and it could be something interesting to cover. We kind of feel like we've carved out a niche as being programmers, and so it's sort of like what we stick with. But if people do like this kind of stuff, we could actually start moving into how to build spaces, how to draw sight lines, how to use some of the tools to build sort of engaging levels and that kind of stuff. That's something we could probably cover at some stage.
Yeah, it's definitely we are by trade developers, and that's our area of expertise. But as game developers too, there's a lot of other things that we're interested in that we'd like to dive into. So yeah, let us know in the comments what you like to see as well, and join us on Discord too if you haven't. Just to wrap up the stream, just want to say a reminder about that promo code. It's a coupon code you'll be able to use on the Unity Asset Store. It's Infallible 15. You'll see that. I'll post it up on Twitter and also on Discord, but that'll be good September 1st through September 30th, and that's going to be 15% off anything on the Unity Asset Store. So keep an eye out for that, and I think that's it. Join us on the Discord server. I've been hanging out there more often. I think, Jason, have you made your triumphant comeback, or are you still just kind of testing the water?
I'm trickling back, I guess. It's like it has been a month almost entirely at this stage, so I might as well start commenting a little bit more. We'll see how it goes.
Fair enough. I've been holding down the fort somewhat.
Oh, but you're holding the fort. It's not an inflatable fort. You're not holding it down. It's not going to go anywhere if you let go of it. It's
my floor.
You're holding
my
the fort,
fort can
like
fly away. Damn it. All right, guys. Well, thanks for joining. Have a good Sunday, and I'll catch you guys in Discord later.
Good luck, everyone.